Welcome, friends. You've just stepped into a place where food brings us together, where every dish is made from scratch and every meal is a celebration. This is our faraway village, our kitchen, and now it's yours too. Today's episode carries a hint of quiet suspense, because behind the simplest ingredients often hides something truly special. Let's begin by following my wife into the patch where the star of today's show grows. Tall and leafy green beans with a slightly tangled charm. They've always had a funny shape, as if they're trying to twist their way out of the sunlight. Today we're preparing pakla, a traditional Azerbaijani dish that brings the taste of early summer right to the table. There's something about this time of year. Summer settles over the village like a warm shawl, unhurried and full of promise. Green beans, freshly picked, seem to carry that warmth in every snap. They're more than just a seasonal ingredient. They're part of a quiet tradition. I still remember the sound of beans being cleaned in my grandmother's hands, the soft murmurs of stories shared while preparing the day's meal. Making pakla keeps that spirit alive, simple, slow, and full of memory. While my wife sets about the first quiet preparations, I head over to get the fire going. And while we wait, let me tell you a little more about pakla, a dish that's humble on the outside, but rich in story and soul. Pakla has been around for generations, tucked into every season of village life. It's often made when the beans are still young and tender, green and full of life, just like the days of early summer. It was a way for families to use what the land gave, nothing wasted, everything with a purpose. Some say the roots of pakla stretch back to the earliest rural kitchens of the South Caucasus, places where time moved with the sun and meals were guided more by feeling than recipe. A pot of pakla meant everyone was home, the table was full, and things were just as they should be. Different regions have their own take on it. In the north you might find it simmered with fragrant herbs. Down south, it's all about buttery richness and a touch more garlic. Some add eggs, some don't. But no matter where you taste it, it always carries the essence of the soil it came from. I remember, as a child, tiptoeing barefoot through the garden, hunting for the best beans to bring back. My hands too small to pluck them properly, but eager to help all the same. The smell of warm earth, the buzz of bees nearby. That's what pakla tastes like to me. My mother used to cook it over a low fire, in a heavy pot that had its own kind of patience. She'd add each ingredient slowly, like telling a story, layer by layer. The smell would drift through the house long before we ate, wrapping itself around every corner. There was one time, I must have been 6 or 7, I tried to cook pakla on my own while my parents were out. Let's just say the pot didn't survive and neither did the beans. But I remember how kindly my mother laughed when she found out. "It means you're ready to learn," she said. Just as I was thinking of that, I saw my wife pouring hot water over the beans she'd cleaned. That step might seem simple, but it softens them just enough, helping them hold their shape and soak up every bit of flavor. For a good pakla, not just any green bean will do. You want the younger ones, thin, fresh, without the tough threads that come later in the season. They cook faster, taste sweeter, and remind you why this dish is tied so deeply to early summer. In our home, we cook pakla the old way, with onions, fresh herbs, and sometimes a touch of butter at the end. Oh, and before I forget, if you've enjoyed this quiet walk through our kitchen and garden so far, don't forget to subscribe and give the video a like. It's a small gesture, but it helps keep this fire burning and the stories flowing. Over by the pot, my wife is adding tomatoes, soft and ripe, their juices bringing a bright note that'll balance the butter and beans just right. Then comes a generous spoonful of our homemade Azerbaijani butter. Golden and fragrant, it melts slowly, coaxing the flavors to life like a good storyteller, easing into a tale. The onions go in next, and she lets them roast gently in the butter. No stirring frenzy here, just patience. The kind that gives onions a soft golden edge and a whisper of sweetness. In our tradition, pakla is never rushed. It's the sort of dish that carries a family's rhythm, the steady chopping, the careful simmering. It belongs to the heart of the home. You'll find green beans like these in gardens from Lankaran to Kach, each region proud of their soil and sun. Some swear by the ones from the lowlands, others prefer the mountain harvests. Either way, you'll get something worth the wait. The beans have finished soaking, just 20 to 25 minutes, enough to take the edge off without losing their bite. Time now to drain them and let them meet the rest of the pot. Salt, pepper, and into the pot they go. The mix is starting to thicken, and the aroma has gone from garden fresh to deep and homey. That's how you know pakla is on its way. We'll let that simmer for a while and turn our attention to something a little sweeter, kiata. A pastry so treasured here it might as well have its own holiday. Kiata is flaky, rich, and filled with a buttery sweetness that melts on the tongue. Around here, it's as much part of life as morning tea. You'll find similar pastries across Georgia, Turkey, and Iran, but every village has its own way. Ours is softer, more generous in the middle, like most village folk. The dough starts with yogurt and melted butter, a mix that gives it that delicate softness. There's no room for shortcuts when you're chasing flavor from memory. While my wife tends to the kiata, I sneak back to the pakla. The colour's deepened beautifully. It's nearly there. Just a few more minutes of quiet bubbling. She's working on the filling now, a simple mix of sugar, flour and butter, crumbly and sweet like something your aunt would sneak to you under the table. By the way, we're also over on Instagram. If you'd like more behind-the-scenes moments from our village life, come find us there. Link below. I once had kiata in sheki, fresh from a clay oven. I still remember how the crust crackled and the filling almost sighed into sweetness. That moment stuck with me. It's easily one of my favourite pastries, comforting without being too heavy, the kind you want to have with a second cup of tea. As a child, I'd hover around the kitchen when my mother baked kiata. I'd always steal one before it cooled, burning my fingers, but never learning my lesson. Of course, too many warm pastries, and your waistband starts whispering protests. But we live in a village, not a fashion show. Into the oven they go. They'll need about 30 to 35 minutes. Just enough time for the scent to fill the house and for us to get the tea ready. Speaking of tea, we're always using water from the river, cold, clean, and full of life. It turns the simplest tea into something almost poetic. One sip, and you understand why mountain people live so long. Everything here is slow, honest, and drawn straight from the earth. That's the secret. Food and water that haven't forgotten where they came from. That, and knowing when to take a break. The kiatas are ready. Just look at them, golden, puffed and tempting. The smell alone could write its own love letter. We'll let them cool a bit. While we do, I'll crack a few eggs for the final flourish on our pakla. In places like Guba and Nakhchivan, finishing pakla with eggs is tradition. It brings a silkiness to the dish, like tucking it in for a well-earned rest. To round out our table, we're making a quick salad, clean and bright, like the last line of a good song. Meals like this connect us to our roots, to our culture, to each other. If you feel the same, drop a comment below. We'd love to hear your story. And if you'd like to carry a piece of this village life home, check out our shop. My wife knits the warmest socks you'll ever wear, and our knives could chop through memory itself. Scan QR code and bring a piece of Faraway village into your home. Let's stay connected even outside the screen. Today I'm doing the serving. My wife's done enough for one day. It's her turn to sit and enjoy. The smell? Let's just say if you could bottle it, we'd never need to light another fire. It's something you need to make yourself to truly understand. Even our dog's joined us. He's part of the family too, and he knows when something good's cooking. The first bite is soft, buttery beans, sweet onions, a gentle tang of tomato. It's everything we hoped it would be. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't already. It keeps this kitchen warm and the stories flowing. And if you're still hungry for more, check out our other videos, follow us on Instagram, and stay close. There's always something simmering here. Well, friends, that's all for today. The fire's gone low, but the stories linger. Don't forget to subscribe and share a little bit of this village magic with someone you love. Until next time, keep it slow and keep it soulful.